One day, it hits you. Not slowly, not gently, but all at once. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not the world you keep waiting on. And in that exact moment, something inside you cracks. Or maybe something finally wakes up. Because you've been waiting, haven't you? Waiting for things to get easier. Waiting for someone to finally understand you. Waiting for life to somehow fix itself. But what if that moment, that uncomfortable, heavy realization, is actually the beginning? The moment everything shifts. Stay with me. Because by the end of this, you won't recognize who you used to be. You wake up one morning and nothing feels different. Same room, same ceiling, same phone lighting up your face before your eyes are even fully open. You scroll for a second, just out of habit. Notifications, almost none. You pause. Something feels off, not loud, not dramatic. Just this quiet, heavy feeling sitting in your chest. You sit up slowly. The room is still, too still. You check your messages, no replies. You refresh. Maybe the internet lagged. Maybe they just haven't seen it yet. Still nothing. And you tell yourself it's fine, it's normal. People are busy, but deep down, you think about texting someone again. Maybe sending something casual, something light. Hey, what's up? Are you free? But your fingers hover over the screen, and then you stop. Because you already know how it's going to go. They'll reply hours later, or give you one-word answers, or say they're busy, or worse. They'll respond, but it'll feel empty, like they're there, but not really there. So you lock your phone, and you just sit there, staring at the ceiling, letting the silence stretch longer than it should, and your mind starts drifting, replaying everything, every conversation, every moment. Every time you showed up when it wasn't convenient. You remember the times you dropped everything just to be there for someone. The late night calls, the long messages, the constant effort. You remember how much you gave, your time, your energy, your attention, and every time you told yourself the same thing. If I just give a little more, they'll care a little more. If I show up enough, they'll show up too. If I'm there for them, they won't leave me, but they did. Not always completely, not always obviously, but slowly, in small ways, delayed replies, canceled plans, half-hearted conversations, until one day, you realize you've been holding on to people who barely hold on to you, and that realization doesn't hit like a loud explosion. It creeps in quietly, like a truth you've been avoiding for a long time. And now, you can't ignore it anymore. You feel stuck, not because your life is falling apart, but because nothing is really moving forward. You're in the same place, same patterns, same cycle. Wake up, scroll, wait, hope, repeat. And somewhere inside you, there's this expectation that something will change, that someone will show up, that someone will notice, that someone will finally understand you, that someone will step in and make things easier, fix your problems, see your effort, push your life forward when you don't have the energy to do it yourself. You've been living like that moment is coming, like it's just a matter of time. But then, in the middle of that silence, with your phone next to you and your thoughts getting louder, it hits you. That quiet realization. Not dramatic, not loud, just clear. No one's coming. And for a second, everything inside you freezes. Because that thought, it's terrifying. It feels heavy, unfair, almost cruel. Like the safety net you thought you had was never really there. And now you're left with something you didn't expect. Yourself. No rescue. No sudden change, no one stepping in to fix it, just you, in that quiet room, finally seeing things for what they are. And in that moment, you don't know whether to feel scared or free. Here's the part most people never talk about. You weren't just waiting for help, you were depending on it. And the most dangerous part, you didn't even realize it. It wasn't obvious. It didn't feel like weakness. It felt normal. You built your mindset around this quiet, invisible belief that someone will eventually save me. Not in a dramatic, movie-like way, but in small, everyday expectations. You thought someone would notice your effort. You thought someone would appreciate your sacrifices. You thought someone would eventually step in and make things easier. Maybe not consciously, but subtly. It showed up in your habits. You wait for motivation. Instead of creating discipline, you wait to feel ready. Instead of starting messy, You wait for validation instead of building self-respect. You tell yourself things like, I'll start when I feel better. I'll try when things calm down. I'll change when the timing is right. But the truth is, that moment never comes because waiting feels safe. It gives you an excuse, a reason to delay, a way to avoid discomfort, and slowly, without even noticing, you lose something incredibly important: control. Not all at once, not in a way that shocks you, but in small pieces. Every time you hesitate, every time you overthink, every time you choose comfort over action, you hand your power over to something outside of you, to circumstances, to other people, to perfect timing. And when your life depends on things you can't control, you become powerless. You start reacting instead of deciding. You start hoping instead of acting. You start waiting instead of building. And the scariest part, you don't notice it, but it's happening. Every time you delay something important, every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, every time you avoid a hard decision, you're reinforcing that pattern. You're teaching yourself, I don't move unless something pushes me. And over time, that becomes your identity. Someone who waits, someone who hesitates, someone who depends. But here's the twist. It doesn't feel like a problem. It feels comfortable because responsibility is heavy. It forces you to face things you'd rather avoid. Your excuses, your habits, your lack of action. It strips away the illusion that something external will fix everything and replaces it with a truth that's hard to accept. That your life is your responsibility. Every choice, every delay, every action you take or don't take, it all leads back to you. And that realization, it's uncomfortable because it removes every excuse you've been holding onto. It forces you to stop blaming timing, stop blaming circumstances, stop blaming other people, and look at the one place you've been avoiding the most, yourself. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You realize that nothing is holding you back except the version of you that keeps waiting. And suddenly, the problem isn't your situation anymore, it's your mindset. And that's what makes this so powerful and so uncomfortable at the same time. But here's what most people don't realize. That moment when it feels like no one is coming to save you isn't a breakdown. It's a turning point. A hidden doorway you were never meant to avoid. It doesn't look exciting. It doesn't feel empowering at first. It feels heavy, uncomfortable, almost unfair. But that feeling, it's doing something important. It's stripping away the illusion you've been living under. Because as long as you believe someone else will fix your life, you'll never fully step into your own power. You'll always hold back just a little. You'll always leave space for someone else to take control. Think about it. Why would you push yourself past your limits if you secretly believe someone will eventually carry you? Why would you take full responsibility? If you think something external will rescue you at the last moment, you wouldn't. And you haven't. Not completely. You've been giving partial effort, partial commitment, partial responsibility, just enough to feel like you're trying, but not enough to truly change anything. And that's why you feel stuck. Not because you're incapable, not because you lack potential, but because you're waiting for clarity to magically appear, waiting for confidence to show up first, waiting for someone to guide you step by step. You tell yourself, I just need more time. I just need to figure things out. I just need the right opportunity. But underneath all of that, there's a deeper pattern, a quieter truth. You're not just waiting for things to get better. You're waiting for permission. Permission to start. Permission to take risks. Permission to believe in yourself. And when that permission never comes, you stay exactly where you are. But here's where it gets interesting. Because something begins to shift the moment you realize no one is coming. At first, it feels like pressure. Like everything is suddenly on you. Every decision, every action, every outcome. No backup plan, no external rescue, just you. And that thought, it's intense. But beneath that intensity, there's something else, something most people miss. A strange kind of freedom. Because if no one is coming to save you, then no one is coming to control you either. No one is deciding your direction. No one is limiting your next move. No one is holding the key to your life. That responsibility you were avoiding is also your power. But here's the part almost nobody sees. The reason this moment feels so uncomfortable is because it forces you to confront something deeper than fear. It forces you to confront your own potential. Because once you accept that no one is coming, you lose the excuse to stay the same. You can't blame timing anymore. You can't blame people anymore. You can't wait anymore. And that's terrifying. Because now it's all on you. Your growth, your discipline, your future. But at the same time, it's also all up to you. And once that clicks, once you truly see it, you can't go back to who you were before, because now you know something most people spend their whole lives avoiding, that the thing you were waiting for was never outside of you. And once you see that truth, you can't unsee it. The truth is, you don't actually want to be saved. Not really, because being saved means you never had control to begin with. And deep down, that's not what you want. You crave control, not the kind that controls everything around you, but the kind that grounds you within yourself. You crave independence. You crave self-respect. You crave that quiet confidence of knowing, I did this. No shortcuts, no rescue, no one carrying you, just you. But that feeling, it only shows up when you stop waiting, when you stop expecting someone else to change your situation and start changing it yourself, when you stop looking outside for answers and finally turn inward. That's when the shift begins. Not loud, not instant, but real. You start noticing things you ignored before, your habits, your excuses, your patterns, and instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You ask something more powerful. What can I do right now? And that question quietly starts to change everything. But here's the twist. The moment you truly accept that no one is coming to save you is the moment everything changes. You become dangerous, not in a negative way, but in a focused, unstoppable way. Because now, there's nothing left to wait for. You stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop asking for permission. You stop depending on how you feel. You move, even when it's uncomfortable. You build, even when progress is slow. You show up, even when no one is watching. And something shifts. Life doesn't magically get easier, but you get stronger, more disciplined, more clear, more in control. You stop chasing validation and start creating value. You stop needing approval and start trusting your own decisions. And without even trying, people notice. Not because you demanded attention, but because your energy changed. And the most powerful part, you don't rely on them anymore. Not out of isolation, but out of self-respect. You're no longer waiting to be chosen because you already chose yourself. So go back to that moment, the one that shook you. Nobody is coming to save you. At first, it felt heavy, almost unfair, but now you see it clearly. That moment didn't break you. It woke you up. It showed you that everything you've been waiting for was already inside you. The discipline, the strength, the clarity, you just never had a reason to use it. Until now. And now, you don't wait. You don't wish. You move. Because you finally understand the moment no one comes to save you is the moment you realize you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to become.